Hey everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey and I am back today to share with you how I plan this week in my memory planner. That is how I plan out the photos that I'm going to use, and you can see that I have already printed my photos on one 4x6 photo using my Canon Selfie. To print them, I used the app called PicFrame, and I have selected a handful of items from the Cocoa Daisy Halloween kit to use for this particular week, which is the first full week in October. I do have a few weeks that I need to still do in September, but I have all the feels for October, and so I just wanted to start with October. But we'll catch up, we'll go back, we'll do those weeks in September, so never fear. I am back in the Cocoa Daisy Planner. I did finish that insert, the Heidi Swapp storyline chapters, and I did really enjoy it. The part that I did not enjoy, and the reason that I'm back in the Cocoa Daisy Planner, is that I love a bound planner so much, but the thing that I did not love about it is that for my memory planner, I need to be able to insert awards and certificates and different things. I love to be able to add those to my memory planner, and I just can't do that. And so a bound planner is not for me right now. And as much as that pains me, I'm just going to stick it out, and I'm going to keep using the Daisy Planner because I really do love this format so much. This planner is just really exceptional, and I have loved it so much. So I have 8 photos for this week, and so I have 3 for Saturday, which is absolutely crazy, and then I don't have any for Friday, and I don't have any for Sunday, which is just so bizarre. So I'm just going to format these. You can see, for example, on Thursday, I'm going to have one be down at the bottom and overlap with a little bit on Sunday just to make a little bit more space on Thursday, because I did have 2 for Thursday, so it takes up a little bit more room. And then I just added those all sort of equidistant on Saturday, but I did leave a little tiny bit of room over on the left hand side so I could do the little bit just a little bit of journaling over there. Now I'll go ahead and I'll take the pages out so that I can write on them without anything encumbering my handwriting and those types of things, like the discs, for example. All right, so now I'm going to start pulling out some things so that I can add my embellishments next. That is sort of the second thing I like to do. I like to start with the photos because I consider those the most important part of my memory planner. And then I like to go to my embellishments, and then I like to fit the 2 types of journaling that I do in around that. So my first cluster is going to be up in the upper left hand corner, and then my second cluster is going to be over on Friday. So up in the upper left hand cluster, I'm going to start with that blank label. I absolutely love these labels. They look like poison bottle labels. You know what I'm talking about, like vintage poison labels, and I think they're so clever. And I start with this like, oh, I'm going to put a couple of these other fun little die cuts on top of them, and I just never really can quite get them right. And then I find this like haunted spooky house one, and I'm like, oh yeah, I think that's the one. So I start with that, and I'm pretty settled on that. And then you can see over on Friday, I have that spooky label. And I love the height of that particular one, especially since Friday and Sunday are pretty open. So I love the height on that one. So we're going to keep that one there. Now I trimmed off the very top of that circle label because I wanted it to sit flush along the edge. And I'm pulling out the stamp set, and I'm going to use the little cluster of stars and a little cluster of bats to also go with this. So I stamped this one a couple of times, and then the my goodness, I'm having a hard time today. And the bats as well. I love how that comes together. Like, I think it's just absolutely adorable. And then using the black VersaFine just is so stinking easy, and it just goes so perfectly. Now I laid down the slightest bit of washi over here to go with this die cut. Now I used more than I knew that I was going to want, but I knew that I'd be able to tear off the excess really quickly. So I knew that I would want to have more than necessary because I didn't want it to be like, oh, I wish I had just like another half an inch there. No. Now this journaling card is absolutely adorable, but I knew that I wanted to cut out the pumpkins because, again, because this is a vertical layout, I knew I would want more height. I would want to draw my eye in a long fashion. I would want it to pull up along the page. So I am trimming these pumpkins out. They're positively adorable. I don't know what it is about the stacked pumpkins, but they always get me. I am always really drawn to pumpkins stacked on top of each other. I really should probably try that in my own decor. I always really enjoy that. So anyway, now I'm going to adhere these pumpkins right next to this particular photo. But I want to add some more little pumpkins next to it, but not these shorties. Then that it's not, they don't go well enough together when they're all super short. Like it's way too, the juxtaposition between the two is not good. So I find the taller pumpkins in the die cuts, and then it definitely blends together much, much better. So I adhere the tall one down next to it, and then I pull the backing off of the die cuts and I put those next to it. And yes, the Cocoa Daisy die cuts, which is the coolest thing ever, is that they're already basically stickers. You just pull the back off and voila, they stick right there. And the adhesive is good. Like it's not crappy adhesive, it's really good. They stick to the page automatically, and I love that so much. So now you can see I have my visual triangle. You could draw a line between each of the three little parts. I love it. So cute. Now I'm going to add, to finish up, the little broom right there too. So cute. I love that. So all of the clusters are complete. They look positively adorable. And you can still get a couple, there's a couple of these kits left in the store. I will link them up for you below if you're interested. I have really enjoyed this. I've used it for a couple of weeks in my planner. And I made a layout with it, a traveler's notebook layout. It was super cute. And then I've used it in my planner too. It's just a really fun kit. And then there will be a 2023 Daisy planner coming, and I'm going to use that one for my memory planner again. And so I started my memory planner in 2016, and so I am excited to start to use a Daisy planner yet again. I am definitely very much looking forward to it. So now this is the next part of what I do, my first round of journaling, which is putting down the activities and the appointments and those types of things. Now, this is not something that everyone does in their memory planner. It's something that I do, that I started doing in 2016. The logic behind this was that I had 3 school-age kids. 2016, I had a high schooler, I had a middle schooler, I had an elementary school-age son. They were all involved in sports, they all had school activities, and I knew our lives would never look like they did right then. And I really wanted to document that. So I started including all of those things, the games, the practices, the appointments, all of that. And so that was really the singular focus for me, because I wanted to keep track of all of those things in one place with the photos. And that has lightened up a little bit since I only have one school-age son. My other 2 are in college now. But it's still important to me to include, because that is also how we live. And that's what I consider my memory planner to be, a look at how we actually live, what's in our day-to-day life. So memory planning can mean whatever you want it to mean. For me, it's a glimpse at how we live. So this is the first part in journaling for me, which is what we do every day. Now, like I said, not most people don't do this part, but I do. The second part of journaling for me is, if we have room, I will add actual journaling, my reflections, my thoughts. And so this week I have lots of room because I did not have as many photos for this particular week. So I've pulled out my magnetic mat and my mild liner, and I'm going to draw the thick lines for journaling this week because I have plenty of room. And I am drawing some journaling lines so that I can tell different little stories. So for example, I bought yet another costume for my cat. I am the crazy lady that buys all kinds of costumes for my pets. Both my cat and my dogs have several Halloween costumes because I'm highly amused by it. And so I'm telling that story of my cat's Halloween costume. I am telling the stories about many things in these photos this week. And I don't always get around to that every week because some weeks I just don't feel like it. But most weeks it's because I have so many photos. So for example, that photo, my dog got a bath, and so I'm just talking about that ever so slightly. And then on the left hand side, there's lots of room as well. And so I'll tell stories over there too. But over here, I'm also talking about, for example, like Trader Joe's. If you guys go to Trader Joe's, they always have a really cool pumpkin display out front. And living in Southern California, where it's still 90 degrees at the beginning of October, I don't feel like I can have pumpkins outside. I mean, I guess you can have them inside, but I'm not really into that. So, but I don't buy pumpkins because they just rot. And so I love to see the display. I think it's super cute. It really amuses me, but I don't buy pumpkins yet. So I get very excited to see the display, but it's not time for me to buy pumpkins yet. So now this side over here has this huge white space. So I'm adding a very small journaling display over on the far left side. And then I'll do a bigger one closer to where the discs are for a different story. So I like to keep them separate for the different stories. I could just do like one big block and just tell like one big story all together, like, oh, at the beginning of the week we did this, or, you know, one thing we did was this, and then the next thing we did was that. But I just try to keep them separate just so I can keep the stories separate. But it definitely varies from week to week. I don't do the same thing all the time. I definitely change it up. And that's true for the lines. It's true for all of the things. Changing things is definitely something that I love to do so much. But this is definitely one of my favorite ways to add some extra color, which is funny because I'm using gray, and gray is not really a color, but I still love it anyway. Just envision that it's blue or something and we're talking about that. But it's a fun way to infuse some extra color to a layout is by using a different color mild liner, and you can add that color by using those mild liners, and just it's a subtle way, and then still add your journaling and give yourself the straight lines for adding that journaling too. So several things you're accomplishing just by drawing lines for your journaling as well. So it's cool. It's an easy way, having those stories or those photos right there as prompts, like to jog your memory about what happened that week, and then give yourself permission to write those stories of what happened. It's much, much easier, and I think it's really fun. So now you can see there's just a couple of white spaces, and I absolutely could have left it alone, but I thought, why not? Let's add the dates. We'll go back through my favorite Carpe Diem sticker book. It's got all the colors, lots of different shapes. And then I will just add the last couple of details, just a couple more embellishments to finish it up. Now I'm going to link you up to all of the things in the description below. So if you're curious about the kit or the memory planner or the stickers, or heck, even the mild liners, I will link them all up for you below. But be sure to check those out, and I will be back with more memory planning goodness soon. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it, and make it a great day.